Go away from the day rate, go away from the hourly rate, start to think about how can I price my services so that I can appear more valuable, I can be more premium, and I can kind of appear like I'm the expert. Hey, what's up guys, Jordan Anderson here, and on this episode, let's talk about whether or not you should list your prices. Okay, so I think we've all kind of had this, photographers out there, I think you've all kind of had this conversation with yourselves. I think when we're all starting our creative businesses, we've asked ourselves that, like, should I list my prices? Should I keep my prices hidden? What are the pros and cons to that? Let's kind of go into whether or not you should list your prices. To save you a little time in this video, I don't think you should list your prices. I think if you are listing your prices now on your page, I think you should probably go ahead and take those off, remove them a little bit from your website. But let's kind of dive into it. The first point I want to make is that listing your prices attracts what I would call a price shopper. A price shopper is just anyone that their first priority is the price. They're shopping for the price. So, whether they're shopping for a used car or they're a marketing, director at some company, and maybe they're looking for you, the photographer, they're looking for you based on price. They don't really value or expertise or the quality. Those are kind of secondary items. The main item that they're looking for is price. There's a lot of reasons this could happen. If you're in the wedding industry, if you're a wedding photographer, a lot of wedding couples just have a budget. They just say, look, I have $5,000 on photographers. This is all I can spend. If you can't be under $5,000, then I can't really do business with you. In the commercial world, if you're working with like a marketing director or some kind of marketing agency, and they're looking for just almost like a freelancer, just someone to kind of plug into their team as a photographer, they could be probably some kind of middle manager. Maybe they're not the creative director of the project, so they're just they could just very well be just like a producer, or they could be a project manager, and they're looking for a freelancer that can fit this budget. And if you can't fit within that budget range, or you're not the right hourly rate, or based on the prices that you've listed on your website, if you don't match that, then they're kind of out of there. So, but the price shopper is not someone you really want to hang out with. This is a person that's not really going to value your work for what it actually is, or how good it is, or how effective it is at changing, transforming your client's business. A price shopper is really just going to try to haggle you down, really focus on price. And that's not where you want to be. You don't want to be just kind of judged based on the hourly rate that you charge. You really want to be judged on the value and how much you can transform someone's business. So that's the first point about listing your prices. It attracts the price shopper. It's really going to attract those budget conscious, tire kicking customers and clients that really aren't going to be that fulfilling to work with. Another downside to listing your prices on your website is that, well, I'll just go ahead and say it, you're leaving money on the table. Okay, so maybe they are kind of a price shopper, or maybe a client is coming to you with some certain kind of budget. Maybe it's a commercial client. Let's say it's a marketing director who's coming with you. You don't know their budget off the bat. How would you exactly know that $5,000 is the budget that they had? I mean, it's kind of like that little scenario when you're negotiating your salary and you say, how about $50,000? And they say, yep, sounds good, immediately. And you're like, damn, I could have got more money. That's the same thing with listing your prices online. You are saying, I'm cool with this budget. If you have more in the and marketing directors and commercial clients, when they're looking for people like you and they've got $20,000 in their budget and they find you for $5,000, they're like, hell yeah. I just saved this company $15,000 and I found this really awesome photographer for $5,000. My boss is gonna love me. Now I'm losing my light again. Okay. For these videos, I'm not doing any lighting. I'm just like, put it next to the window. I don't care what it looks like. I care more about this information I'm giving you than like how I'm shaping this light. So you're leaving money on the table. If you are listing your prices and you don't know, before you even meet this client, you don't really know what their budget limits are, or how much budget they have, or how little budget they have. They're just kind of looking at you saying, okay, we see them online saying that their package is worth $5,000. I may have $30,000 in my budget. I may have $4,000 in my budget, but it doesn't matter. You're $5,000, great. The argument I've seen with this, and I've heard from some photographers, is that it saves time in the sales process. Like you as the photographer and the client, you don't really want to take that time to do that negotiation or like going back and forth. This kind of like, they see you that you're $5,000 and they either click contact or they just kind of bounce out of the website. The idea that you're trying to save time, you would rather like save time and have your sales process be a little bit more convenient than actually making more revenue, I don't think is a very smart strategy. You want to make as much money as you can in your business so that you have more free time to do. That's what's going to free you up, not making some kind of convenient sales process. What's really going to save up some time for you is that you're making more money, and that means you can take less projects, and that means you can have more time to improve your business. That's my argument. Okay, so based off those 2 points, all right, now I've kind of made the argument of why you should take your prices off your website. Let me kind of make the argument why you should leave your prices hidden a little bit, or like leave them at least for the personal conversation between you and your potential client. When I first heard this, like should you leave your prices on? The typical thing is like, oh, you want to appear like you're some sort of luxury brand, or you want to appear like you're premium, like, oh, inquire for prices, that kind of like the price is always hidden, or like please contact for pricing. That kind of rings true, that you're kind of like trying to set yourself apart as a luxury brand, or that a lot of luxury brands or high-end services actually do that practice. They say, contact for services. They don't just go ahead and list the price, so you're able to kind of make that judgment call as a client in the moment. What I want you to start to think about is it's not about expediting the sales process, or it's not about just kind of booking clients as fast as possible. It's really about having a conversation with some of your clients, trying to understand what it is that they're trying to achieve, what are their goals, and then in that same conversation, talk about their budget. What are their budget constraints, and trying to figure out, okay, what is it worth to them to if through my services as a photographer, I was able to transform your business and kind of really set your brand apart from other companies, or just somehow achieve your goal that you've kind of laid out to me. What would that look like? And then try to price it based off that. Don't start with the price and how much it costs for you to get your photo equipment out there and show up and just post your day rate. Like, don't start with that. Start first by understanding your client's problem, and then figure out a solution from there. From that perspective, photography might not even be in the picture, or website or branding might not even be in the picture. If you kind of start a conversation with just kind of the services, you really start to commoditize yourself, and you really start to look like just any other freelancer out there. What I want you guys to start doing is think about more like consultative selling. You're not just a freelancer with a camera and a couple lenses and some batteries. You're more of a specialist. You're an expert. You have trained yourself. You have a set of skills that are separate from everyone else, and you have a very unique perspective that you bring to the table. And start thinking about how do you sell that. Start thinking about how do you demonstrate that value to the client, because that's going to raise your prices, of course, but that's also going to make it seem like you're worth it. That when you do have that conversation one-on-one, and they're kind of say, well, you're trying to figure out what their budget is, that when you give your big premium price, that they go, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. You are the expert. You do the work that you do makes sense, and the work that you do is valuable. So I want you guys to start getting yourselves in that mindset. Go away from the day rate, go away from the hourly rate. Start to think about, how can I price my services so that I can appear more valuable, I can be more premium, and I can kind of appear like I'm the expert in the situation. The bottom line is, if you have a website right now and you've kind of laid out your packages, and maybe you're a wedding photographer or a commercial photographer, take your prices off your website right now. It's okay. It's not going to lose you clients, and in fact, it's probably going to attract better clients who actually care about your work first, and then they care about the price, as opposed to caring about your price first and then maybe caring about your work. So it really kind of switches the dynamic of the relationship between you and your clients. Thanks for watching, guys. My name is Jordan Anderson. Head over to jordanpanderson.com. I have a nice little email sign up for you. I send out 5 lessons on how to get better inquiries, how to kind of generate leads and get what I say consistent inquiries for photographers. Sign up there, and then I'll also throw you into the daily email newsletter where we talk about branding and strategy for photographers and how to, like I said, generate more inquiries. Cool. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.